To bring Tate Schaefer family up on stage today.
Alright, well, good evening. I'm Schaefer. I'll have Brad introduce us in a little bit in detail. But thank you so much for that introduction and for welcoming us here tonight. First, we want to thank Dance Marathon and everyone involved in making this wonderful event happen. I was talking to some of the Dance Marathon board members and things like that. It's a different look than what we're usually used to in this room. It's awesome. They're both awesome. So we love any opportunity that we have to talk about our son Tate, and we're honored to be able to do that here tonight. We have the most special place in our hearts for our Dance Marathon family, and when we call them family, they are our family and have become our family. There are those people whose lives we've been intertwined since he was diagnosed, after we lost him, and there's our people who have cared for Tate and cared for us, and continue to care for us. We'll share a little bit about Tate's love for Dance Marathon later, and the amazing people and gifts that it brought to us. But as you hear us talk tonight, I really want you guys to be thinking about how you impact, not just us, but how you're going to impact that family that's going to get a diagnosis next week or in 3 months. People who funded and did things for Dance Marathon way before Tate was diagnosed helped us. And you guys are helping that future and helping families just like ours. You're going to hear us talk about Tate and the way that he fought odds. And you guys you're doing that. You're helping our family. And Dance Marathon continues to bring us strength even after we've lost him.
Yeah, usually we're here, there's just a bunch of sweaty college kids, and it's getting crazy in here. And my wife Darcy said, she's like, you're gonna have a drink before we speak? I'm like, yes, I'm gonna have a drink before we speak, so I'm also gonna hit the bar as soon as we're done, too, right? Like Darcy said, Brad and Darcy Schaefer from Williamsburg, Iowa, an insurance agent. Darcy is a special ed consultant with the Grantwood ADA. We have a sophomore in college, daughter named Tegan. She's studying to become an elementary educator, where she's very active in golf and basketball right now, so she's taking us all over the lovely American Rivers Conference. Spent a lot of time in Wisconsin, up in Minnesota, Luther, all over. So she really is kind of keeping her mind off of what we went through with Tate. But we're going to talk a little bit about Tate. Growing up, Tate was he was like, as a dad, he was the perfect son. He loved athletics, he loved sports, super competitive, and he'd sell right away. Tall kid, I don't know where he gets it, but he was a big kid. Basketball, football, baseball, golf, sports were very natural to him. But he also had this gift of music. I was a music teacher, and he not only could he carry a tune, but his best gift was lyrics. He'd hear a song from the 80s one time, and he'd know the words. So I don't know any words, Darcy does, but just had this most infectious smile. He thought he was quite the ladies' man in elementary school. A lot of music concerts with in 5th grade, he had 2 girls kissing, each cheek. I'm like, what guy does that? I don't know where he gets it from. Maybe I do. Huge Hawkeye fan, big Chicago Cubs fan, and really cool. Williamsburg native, Austin Blythe was a Hawkeye, went on to play football in the NFL, started with the Colts, then went to the Rams, then went to the Chiefs, then went to the Seahawks. So if you ask Tate who his favorite team was, it was whoever Austin was playing for.
So, talking about how we get to that, to being up here on the stage, sharing Tate with you guys without him here with us. In December of 2018, Tate was a 5th grader at Mary Walsh Elementary in Williamsburg, doing all the Tate things. And we just started to notice that he was having a lot of issues with his coordination, his balance, just things that weren't normal. we kind of sat down and talked to him. We're like, dude, if you don't want to do some of this stuff, that's okay. We didn't know if it was just like a loud effort. I don't want to be involved. It wasn't that anymore. And we thought, gosh, is it hormones? His feet were ginormous. He was, fifth grade boy, right? And so it wasn't that. We kind of just plodded along. Let's check your vision. Make sure you're wearing your glasses. Those types of things. I think our real hard-hitting point was when one of his coaches came up to us and said, guys, something is not right. So we went to our eye doctor. We thought, gosh, he's feeling dizzy. He's seeing double. What's going on? Our eye doctor really couldn't find anything, but he is a good family friend who was very concerned. And you'll find, with our story, we have so many people who love our children as much as we do. And it was our village that really helped us figure out where we were rotating. So Dr. Striegel was able to push through insurance for us. That was quite a battle to even get that through. Is it life-threatening? We don't know. We got that done. And so we were able to do an MRI in Coralville at Core Radiology on December 12th of 2018. So we were coming up on 5 years this week of his diagnosis. So on the 12th, we went for the MRI. I was able to go back with him. Talking to him, he's in the machine, he's doing great, he's being a rock star like always. And I turn around, and behind me is a window. And if any of you guys have been in any of those rooms, you know that the techs are watching and looking at everything. Well, instead of the two people that were back there when Tate went in, there was about 8 people back there. So it was at that point I knew things were never going to be the same. We were rushed immediately to the emergency room at the university, admitted to the 11th floor that night. And on December 13th, we were given the diagnosis that absolutely rocked our world. Tate was diagnosed with DIPG, diffuse intrinsic pontine glioma. It is a tumor that forms in pons in your brainstem. It is diagnosed in 200 to 300 kids in the United States each year. It can be diagnosed in adults, but mainly in children, 1 to 10. Tate was 11 when he was diagnosed. DIPG is a monster. There is no real treatment except for radiation for it, and it's considered terminal upon diagnosis. You can go and find clinical trials, which is what we did. We'll talk about that. But a lot of it is go home and make some memories. We are lucky and feel very blessed to be a part of some things that are really trying to improve research and look for grants so that that's not an answer given to families anymore. But at that time, that's what we were given. And so we kind of left that all up to Tate. He led the charge, and he was willing to do whatever we needed to do. So we met with an amazing team at the University of Iowa, oncologists, neurologists, radiologists, everybody, and developed a plan. Tate did 31 rounds of treatment, and if you've ever seen anybody with a brain tumor get radiation treatment, your head gets locked down. So he's an 11-year-old, no meds, no sedation, anything, absolute rock star. Playing Batman, I don't think songs, they just let him do whatever he wanted in that room. But he led the way for us. So after those 31 rounds of radiation, we found a clinical trial that we wanted to do in San Francisco. And that was all on our own. The university staff and the hospitals helped us with that. But we found one that we really wanted to do. We did that from May of 2019 until November of 2019, and Tate stayed stable. During that time, the life expectancy of DIPG from diagnosis is 9 to 12 months. And I think you'll put together our chronological order. Tate made it 27. So, we feel like a lot of things we did, a lot of things that the university provided us with, and just Tate's overall kind of outcome life did so much to extend that for him.
You're dealt this hand, and you're told back in December 2018 that your son's not going to live. It really hits you. But the kid is 11 years old, and he's telling us, what we got to do? Well, we roll your sleeves up. You fight. You just fight for your life. So, I tell you what, Iowa Nights is real. You guys in this room, our community is of 3,200 people in Williamsburg, Iowa, had a massive fundraising event for us. Raised thousands and thousands of dollars. Allowed us to take private plane trips to San Francisco for a treatment that was not offered here. They were able to help with medical bills, and then what was really cool is to make trips and memories of lifetime. We went to the bowl game, we went to multiple basketball games, we went to Turks and Caicos for his Make-A-Wish trip, we went to Mexico. We literally, I don't even know, like, we'd come in the house, dump our crap, try to wash it, and then repack for the next trip. So for like 2.5 years, 27 months, a little over 2 years, we just traveled. Super Bowl. We went and watched Austin play the Super Bowl. You know, here's a kid, and he would always try to find the positive in the negative. He's like, Dad, if I didn't get diagnosed with cancer, I wouldn't have been able to meet George Kittle. I wouldn't have been able to go to the Super Bowl. And my all-time favorite trip is we went to the Masters. Gotta go to the Masters. I don't know what, every time that map, I coach boys golf at Williamsburg. He never lost. He was such a good golfer. He would have been a sophomore in high school this year. We had a really good team coming back. And I always think if he was there, man, it would have been, it'd just be that much better. But he got invited by Charles Schwartz to go to Champions locker room at the Masters in Augusta. If you guys are golf fans, only the champions get to go up there. So here's my 11-year-old son going with a guy we just met, a professional golfer, and then I don't get to go. Like, oh, I don't get to go. And Charles goes, no, only champions go to the champions locker room. So, looking back on all those moments, I had to think about a song. You guys all know Tim McGraw, right? Live Like You Were Dying. You know, that's what Tate did. Although we didn't go skydiving or Rocky Mountain climbing, but he actually did sit on a bull at the World's Toughest Rodeo. I don't think his name was Fu Manchu, but now this is where Tegan would say enough of the dad jokes, right? But what he did do is he definitely loved deeper. He spoke sweeter. He tried to get up each and every day, find the blessing in it. And he said, you know, what can we do to make this a positive event? And he led the way, just like Darcy said. He taught us so much about life.
So after those trips, 2019 was crazy. We did a lot. We decided at the end of that trial in San Francisco, we felt like it was really helping the tumor. What he was doing was convection enhanced delivery. They were basically putting a small catheter directly into his brainstem and delivering chemo that way. It was really innovative, and it's something we felt like, gosh, maybe this is the key, and he knew that. He knew what a clinical trial meant. We talked about that. And so we think it was helping. It was keeping the tumor stable. You don't know for sure, but it was having a lot of impact on his gross motor, walking, and things like that. So we decided to be done in 2019 with that trial. So we went home. By Christmas of that year, we noticed more symptoms coming back again. And in 2020, we had a scan done that showed progression again, and some different areas and spots where the tumor was progressing. So we decided to take a trip to Mexico. We were going to do radiation, but we were going to go live it up for a little bit first, right? So we beat COVID back from Mexico by a day before they shut down airports, but we did it. We stayed and we lived it up. And we are so grateful because we started those radiation treatments in all of that unknown. And so we just could not thank that hospital staff enough for showing up all of those days. Nobody knew what we were facing. They showed up for our kid. They showed up every day. This time the radiation was more direct, but in shorter spurts. So he went in twice a day for 15 times, so 30 short, radiation treatments to really try and target that. Dr. Guadi and him, gosh, they were quite the pair. They had arguments about LeBron and Michael Jordan, who was the best. They would get going. But it was things like that just really kept Tate going and kept us going through that time. So we finished that radiation. That had a huge impact on him. We think it probably shrunk the tumor again, but again, more physical impacts. And so he ended up being in a wheelchair. We got an electronic one, or an electric one. You guys, that kid rocked it. He was doing TikToks, writing dirty, like all the things. But it gave him so much freedom, right? He was able to go to school without us. We had friends who signed up to take his books for him, and carry his bags, and get his desk ready. And it was just the best time, and COVID was a little bit of a silver lining for us. His friends weren't playing baseball. They weren't, going to football camps because nobody was doing that. So when Tate couldn't do that, nobody else was doing it either. So they were playing Fortnite, like lots of Fortnite, lots of Madden, all the things. He was schooling Brad and all the video games at home. And so we just continued to do that, and he continued to wake up and find the joy in each and every day. We did all of that through 2020. He took a chemo med, an oral chemo med that the university helped us obtain, and he did that all the way through the beginning of 2021.
Yeah, so as we approached in March of 21, really started to fail, and it was starting to get to him. You know, you could just tell us like, I can no longer walk. You're now 13 years old, and mom and dad are showering you. As a teenager, it was awful, but he still would always put everybody else ahead of himself. You know, he'd get sick there that month of March, and he'd throw up. We'd be cleaning it up, and he would always like just look at us and say, "I'm so sorry." It was like, "Tate, you didn't. It's nothing. You can control." You know. We became really good close friends with the Schaefer family, Five with Flash. I think you guys have heard of that family. And Tate really took that win the day motto. Craig talks a lot about it. What you can control is only your attitude, your effort, trying to get up each day and win the day. And sometimes it was at the end, it was win the hour, and sometimes it was win the minute, and that's all you could do. He was a huge basketball fan, and March Madness was going on. We gathered there. He could no longer talk. He had an NG tube through his nose, but we had 2 days there where we really spent a lot of time as the four of us in his bedroom. And then on March 29th, he burst into heaven. And tell you what, it's our faith that really got us through all of this, because we know that someday we're going to reunite, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be absolutely amazing. But he's now healed, right? This cancer's gone. He's walking, he's running. So if you don't have your faith, I don't know. That's always tough for people that struggle with this. But Tate taught us just how to. He said when he first got diagnosed, he said, "This is what Jesus wants me to do. I'll do it. I will conquer this." So.
I obviously always get I can take with her. I can grab the hard parts, right? So why do we share with you guys? Why we love talking about Tate. We will do it whenever we can, and we just want to share like people shared with us and how people helped us. And Dance Marathon is a huge part of that. So when we were asked to speak tonight, we said yes immediately, obviously. I think that getting back, Tate got everything he needed for the most part here, like right here. And so we're so lucky. We live close, even the families who live hours away, it's right here. And we're just so blessed. So the work that you're doing, the money that you help raise impacts us here. Dance Marathon and so many other organizations did so much for our family and for Tate. He was able to participate in 2 big events while here, and he loved every minute of it. The thumping, like we got pre-COVID big events. They were amazing, you guys. The energy, the strength that these young people brought to him, that fueled his fight. And those connections that he made and that we made continue to fuel ours and help us keep our promise to him. So when those elevator doors open on level 11, you have the family who's going there for the first time. They are greeted by that colorful wall, right? And just brightness and happiness and the names of people like you guys who have helped and continue to help these families. When families are in their waiting rooms and bringing activities and things like that for kids to do. Students involved in Dance Marathon are checking in and doing activities and giving parents breaks. As parents, you may feel awful leaving your kid for a couple of minutes to go eat and do things, but Dance Marathon has these kids that come in and build bonds with these students and with these patients. And it's just amazing. The financial piece is huge. We walked out the very first day after his diagnosis with gift cards, with funds to help us pay for things. Just that little bit of help is amazing. And the biggest financial support was the funeral cost that they helped provide for Dance Marathon families. That helped us honor Tate forever by having a service that we wanted and by having, just a place to remember him by. And we'd be able to do that as well. So, I just want you guys to know, like I said at the beginning, think about how you will impact families down the road, people ahead of us, impact I think I speak for the majority of the families that benefit from Parents Marathon. Child life is huge. It is the most amazing thing. We got to experience in San Francisco, but I think we're pretty biased and I think we're pretty darn blessed here by our child life program. We have a family friend who was actually our child life specialist, Rachel Winston. She holds the most special place in our heart. She stood in that room and helped us tell Tate had cancer. What you guys do in helping us raise funds for Parents Marathon helps that happen for every family, and not just for ours. Throughout our journey, we've just met the most amazing people, and you guys are now a part of that. We can't thank you enough for inviting us here tonight, for letting us share Tate, for probably going over our time. It's what we do. I'm sorry. But I want to let Brad kind of finish up with just a little bit more of Tate, so that you can take him with you on these tours tonight.
You see the Tater Tough logo, that was, the TT comes from the Tater Tough. That was our initial thing right away. And sometimes you'll see the words "nobody better" on the back of our shirts. As a golf coach, I use it all the time with my players. It's just that self-positive talk, nobody better. Like, you're 120 yards out in this situation, nobody better. And I used a lot of Tate in sports. He had all kinds of antics. He was a really good pitcher. He missed the strike zone by 4 feet. He'd throw his arms up in the air, and I'm like, knock it off, what are you doing? But then the words "nobody better" were used quite a bit. And towards the end of the struggle, whether it was a blood draw, or a CDD trial, or an MRI, I just always would say, dude, nobody better here. You can do this. He had some anxiety. I'm like, nobody better. One of the cool things is, once went to the Masters, got to meet Scott Van Pelt. Some of you that don't know, on ESPN, SVP, he's one of the most kindest men ever. Absolutely loves the wave. He has a jar in his office with all the bracelets. Every kid that's had cancer that gives it to him, he says daily devotions and prayers over that. But he grabbed Tate and he told him about his friend Stuart Scott, who passed away, that famous SB speech. And Stuart Scott had a quote in that said, "So live, fight like hell, and when you get too tired to fight, lay down and rest, and let somebody else fight for you." And that's what you guys are doing right now. There's all these kids at the hospital. Dr. Dickens is going to come up and speak. Hundreds of kids getting diagnosed every year. That some of them can't fight, some of them can't get out of bed, and you're fighting tonight for them. Your amazing support. Dance Marathon is an amazing organization, like the president said earlier. We're so fortunate to be with everybody here. We sincerely thank you for all you're doing. Thanks so much for having us. I'm just going to close with, Tate always would say, smile, give hugs, say I love you, and live Tater Tough every single day. Nobody better. Thanks so much.